So I'm just going to cover two topics today. ChatGPT. I mean, you can't walk into a room of techies. I'm not a techie, I'm a business person. So I'm not going to talk about the tech. And then talk a little bit about personalization on websites, because I think there's some interesting tech going on behind that. So ChatGPT, everybody's read about it. Those of you in the legal sector will have heard about Allen and Overy's implementation of such tech called Harvey. It's one of their startups they invested in. And at the simplistic level, generative AI, which is just uses large language models, is just a very good predictor of text and what comes next. So I annoyed one of my team last week by generating a perfectly plausible FAQ blog post for our website using ChatGPT. It was a bit dry, it was a bit stale, it all needs to be humanized. And the parallel I'll draw with technology like that is it's an enabler. So I hit a birthday milestone on Sunday. My birthday began with a 6 for the first time. I'm still not as old as Richard. And I did my O-levels back in 1999. And I learned from teachers, I read books, I did practice papers. Fast forward to my MBA in the mid-90s, I was still learning from lecturers. I was still learning from books. A couple of them are holding up my big monitor just here. But we had online databases, CD-ROMs. And this is a parallel in the accounting world, Francesca, I'm sure, and definitely in the legal world. You know, back in the day, it was the white book. First time I met Stephen, we probably met in a meeting room or a library with books racked up that people were still using. And it just meant your learning and your research could be accelerated. And at one level, ChatGPT has gone beyond that. Everybody knows, if you've read about it, it stopped learning in 2021. And the new version that's coming, if Microsoft do invest the $10 billion that's been talked about, will exponentially increase the amount of data that it will learn on. But at the moment, if you go to ChatGPT, give it a web page and say, summarize this page, it won't do that because it only knows what it knows. And the next generation of this is going to be continually learning, but the computing power behind that. So at one level, these tools are nothing new. You know, when a CD-ROM first came out and you could go read and research on that, or when I did my undergrad degree, it was a microfiche, okay? And we had to go and sit in the library and get these little reels of film, and we'd roll them around and look for things. So the internet has just helped with all that. So ChatGPT, is it anything to be scared of? I have 4 copywriters in my business who spend their entire days writing legal content for websites. They're not scared. We have an AI squad coming who are going to start researching ChatGPT in particular and other tools to look at how it will enable us to do better work, faster work, maybe work at less cost. And we'll see how that goes. The second topic I wanted to touch on was personalization on websites. If you've ever landed on a website and it said, "Welcome back, David," the first time it happens, if your name's not David, it would say something else, obviously. The first time that happens, it is a bit freaky, but the tech behind it with that isn't particularly complicated. If you've ever been to a website and clicked accept cookies, the website at one level knows who you are. In our business, we use some technology called Candy. It's spelled CANDDI. And if I can get you to click on a link in an email newsletter or fill in a form on my website, it will collect your data and store it in a tool. And if you come back to my website next week, I know which pages you've looked at. What does that allow me to do in my BD and marketing? It allows me to target you without saying, "Hey, Stephen, at 3 p.m. yesterday afternoon, you looked at this page on my website." Don't do that. But it would allow me to contact a business or a firm that's been on the website. I might not know who it is because it will track IP addresses. But if I can get you to click a link from an email newsletter, fill in a form or something, then I can identify you as an individual. So we use that a lot. And then the other side of that is personalizing the experience. You're an accountancy firm and you do personal tax and you do business tax advice and consultancy. When I've been to your website and I spend all my time looking at personal tax, when I come back, morph that page to show me more of that information and less of the business stuff that maybe I'm not interested in as an individual. Okay, so looking at behavior, seeing what people have used, and then adapting the content on your website using these different personalization engines. The one that we're looking at is called Personise, YZE, starts from a couple of $100s a month. It doesn't have to be that expensive.